Hello, it's December, which means that we're near done with 2023, looking towards 2024. So I've made a list of some new releases that are going to come out in the year 2024 that I plan on checking out, and I figured I'd share it with you. See if you're interested in one or two as well. I am gonna have a video out here in like probably 2 weeks with my TBR for the first 3 months of the year. I'm gonna start doing quarterly TBRs, let you know what's on my radar so that if you wanna pick something up too, so that you'll be ready for reviews or just chat with me about it, you can. I'll have that video out soon, and some of these books will be in that video as well, naturally. And this list is specifically not my favorite authors, so anything that Sanderson, Abercrombie, Kin Liu, Scott Lynch puts out, I'm just naturally gonna add to my TBR. I'll naturally be reading whatever they put out. I know Stormlight 5 is coming out at the end of 2024. Expect it to be on my TBR. This is authors that I'm not already actively following and actively reading pretty much everything I can get from them. Most of these are authors that I've never read from, and what they're putting out just looks interesting to me. There's a book missing on my bookshelf. It's upstairs. Sorry about that. So this first one on my list is probably the one that I'm the most excited about in the video. It's called Fathom Folk. It follows this city that is half submerged in water, and at the top live these mythical creatures. Peering down from skyscrapers and aerial walkways on the Fathom Folk are sirens, sea witches, kelpies, and kappas. They live on polluted waters and they're tired of it and they're ready to fix it. But with that comes violence, secrets, political intrigue. We're following these mythical creatures that I think are trying to either save their city or decide if it's even worth all the cost of saving it, or if they're just gonna let it drown. I don't know, it just sounds awesome. I love anything set at sea. This is a fantastical setting, fantastical creatures set at sea in a half-submerged city. It's mine. I'm gonna read it. That one will be released on February 27th, which means that it shouldn't have been the first one on the list. Whoops. Next we have The Tainted Cup. This one may be hit or miss for me. I haven't decided yet, but I want to at least give it a try. So I may not finish it. I give myself permission to DNF, but I'm at least gonna check it out. I'm at least gonna give it a go. The pitch is that it's a Holmes and Watson style detective duo taking the stage in this fantasy with a mystery twist. So I don't care about mysteries, but it does, one of the comp titles is Piranesi, and it looks like it's gonna be weird. It looks like it's gonna be sort of a surrealist, kind of literary fantasy. It kicks off when an Imperial officer is found dead with a tree that's erupted from his body. So just that description alone, you know that this is not your, like, this is fantastical and it's gonna be odd, and maybe not everything is gonna fully make sense. And I like that kind of vibe of like magic is bigger than us, so what's going on? But I don't like mysteries, so it could be hit or miss. But Piranesi was a mystery and I love Piranesi, so we'll see. That one will be released February 6th. Another one that may or may not work for me, giving myself permission to DNF, is Projections. The author's name is Sarah Porter. Up to this point, she's written YA. This is her debut in the adult space, so she's now publishing under S.E. Porter. And it's a dark historical fantasy about the bitterness of rejection that endures for centuries. This does not sound like something I would read, but I really like the cover, and it's described as gothic, and I love gothic literature. So I'm gonna give it a try. This is following a woman who has rejected, I think he's a wizard or a mage or a sorcerer. That's more, yeah, that sounds more historical. So she rejected this sorcerer and then he killed her, and from the grave she's now seeking vengeance on him, while what he's doing after he's killed her is he's projecting himself to lure women in to find someone that will give him the love that was rejected of him from our main character. And it's like, you will love me or you're going to die as well. You're also going to be killed off. So it's like this vengeance and unrequited love and I don't know, dark and gothic. It could be very hit or it could be very miss, but it intrigues me, and it's released February 13th. Next we have House of Open Wounds. This is the sequel to The City of Last Chances by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So I've read 2 Tchaikovsky books so far. The Children of Time, which is probably his most popular book as far as I'm aware, but I haven't read the sequels. And then I read City of Last Chances in in 2023 and loved it, and I want to read more of his. I also have a book of his called Cage of Souls that's on my TBR for either January or February. I haven't fully slotted everything in. It's going to be read at the beginning of the year because I just really want to read more of his work, and that book looks really interesting to me. I was hoping to get to it in 2023, but it got bumped. Anyway, I'll probably be reading that either in January or February, and then House of Open Wounds is released March 5th. Next, I have The Last Fee Hunter, and I'm not gonna lie, it's the cover that put this on my list. But this follows a man who is, he's the youngest member of the Fee Hungers Order. So he hunts down ghosts and demons, and he's trying to prove himself. He's trying to hunt down the demon of nightmares and of madness, which is it's gonna be a big kill. It's gonna get him a lot of money, a lot of notoriety, and it's not working out so well. So he's saved by a woman who's 9 months pregnant. And in exchange, she asks him to escort her through this demon and ghost infested forest, and they have targets on their back, so you know, it's very dangerous. Really unique concept to me, and I'm not gonna lie, the description doesn't sound like the most grabbing thing in the world, but the cover does, so I'm gonna check it out. This one is released April 9th. Next we have Ghost Station. Okay, so I read Dead Silence. I could grab the books that I talk about. It's what you're supposed to do. That's the rules of BookTube. So I talked about Piranesi, there it is. I talked about Children of Time, there it is. And here's Dead Silence. So I read Dead Silence a year and a half ago. I don't remember, 2 years ago. And I adored this book. It's this space haunting. There's a crew in space that finds the ghost signal of what is essentially the Titanic, but in space. It was a luxury space cruise. Something horrible happened, they lost contact, and now they've found the way to get to them. So they go and investigate, and it's all these people that have been suspended in the middle of this horrifying murder scene that happened, and they're trying to figure out what happened, but also like writings on the wall and crazy things are going on, and it's, you know, a horror. Anyway, I loved this book. I loved the way the suspense was written. I did not love the ending of it. But Ghost Station has now been written, and I'd love to give this author another go. So this takes place on an ancient planet, and they're trying to figure out what happened last time somebody tried to colonize this planet. They escaped, they ran, they bolted. And so now Ophelia Bray, the person who's the main character of this book, is back with her crew, but and they're trying to figure out what happened here on this ancient planet so long ago. But then their pilot is murdered, and they realize that something else is going on here. It's another sci-fi horror, and I'm very excited for it. Even if it has a bad ending again, or rather an ending that I don't love again, I'm very excited because I loved the entire experience of reading Dead Silence until the very end. So, you know, that's worth it to me. I don't know. Next, I have To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods. The tagline says, she has power over death, he has power over her. When two enemies strike a dangerous bargain, will they end a war or ignite it? So she is able to pull life right out of mortal bodies, but that also somehow takes a toll on her, from what I can understand from this description. And he is someone who wants to hire her to be his assassin to kill his political rivals and hopefully end this war. And she is going to have to use these powers that she has that she never has tapped into before, or very rarely taps into because of the cost on her. And the ending of this description says, are the evils of this agreement really in the service of a much greater good, or will she betray her entire nation by protecting those she loves the most? This is released April 16th. Oh, and I don't know if I said or not, but Ghost Station is released April 9. It's called The Dead Cat Tail Assassins. The Dead Cat Tail Assassins are not cats, nor do they have tails, but they are most assuredly dead. So these assassins live by 3 vows. The first is that the contract must be just. The second is that the most powerful assassin may only kill the contracted. And the third is once you accept a job, you must carry it out. And apparently if you don't, then your fate is worse than death. So naturally she gets a contract that leads her down a path of having to confront her past and have to remember a vow that she cannot forget. It's just barely over 200 pages, and I don't know, it sounds interesting. Next we have Goddess of the River. This follows a goddess of the river and her doomed mortal son. So Ganga, the river goddess, she is cursed and she's trying to get free of this curse and regain her freedom, and just as she regains that freedom, she then is forced to leave her infant son behind. This son grows up and refuses to take the throne, his father's throne, as he grows up. And that sets into motion a chain of events that will end in a terrible and tragic war. Their two plot lines do come together, and it says that this is a moving and masterful tale of duty, destiny, and the unwavering bond between mother and son. I'm very interested in this one. Finally, I'm ending this list on another Adrian Tchaikovsky. Apparently I'm going to be reading quite a bit of his work. Here's hoping I like it. He's untested as an author, but apparently I'm diving headfirst into his work in 2024. This is called Service Model. So this particular plot, the description sounds very ununique. It says Murderbot meets Red Shirts in a delightfully humorous tale of robotic murder from the Hugo-nominated winner. So I didn't realize that one of the comp titles was Murderbot, but as I was reading the description, I thought, okay, it sounds kind of like Murderbot. So cool. To fix the world, they must first break it further. Humanity is a dying breed, utterly reliant on artificial labor and service. So this particular robot gets a code that allows him to, it has a nasty little idea downloaded into its core programming to murder their owner. So then the robot stops following orders and is able to run away. AI gains sentience, chaos ensues. To me, when I read that, it sounded like Murderbot and like iRobot, the novel version, or I guess we could talk about the movie version as well. iRobot is actually a short story in a collection by Isaac Asimov. I read it years ago. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't sound like a wholly unique description, but it does sound like one that I enjoy reading, and I do really, really like Adrian Tchaikovsky's writing, so I'm gonna give it a try. Oh, and Service Model is released June 4. So those are the 10 books that interest me in the first half of 2024. Naturally, I focus on the first half of the year because that's what I know of publishing. The second half, I'm sure we'll get tons of news in 2024 of what's being published, but those are 10 titles that are happening in 2024 that I'm personally interested in, that are outside of what are already my auto-buy authors. Let me know if you plan on reading any of these, if you want to check them out, or if there's something that you're particularly interested in that you want to pick up in 2024. Tell me about it in the comments. I will read through the comments, and I might pick up some of them as well. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on this channel, Mondays and Fridays on the manga channel, which is always linked in the description. I'll see you again soon. Bye.